Good day everyone, I'm Ifane Jerlyn Madulara. We are going to talk about how the culture in Mindanao survived. Okay, the Mindanao culture survives basically through first, studying local history. Next, we have treasuring museums and shrines. Third, showcasing local festivals. Fourth, preserving exotic delicacies. And lastly, protecting natural, historical, and cultural attractions. So let's talk deeper about these details. Cultural communities in Mindanao, we have the Lumad. The indigenous cultural communities are the people in Mindanao. So they make up the 10% in the national population. So that is why in the modern times, we need to preserve, to protect them in order for them to survive even in the next generation. We have first Lumad that could be found in Mindanao. We have Cotabato Manubo, a group known as Dulangan and Tudal. We have also Bagubos that could be found in Mindanao. Another Lumad here in Mindanao are the Bilaan. We have here the pictures of Bilaan. Next, cultural communities that could be found in Mindanao, we have in Bukidnon, also known as Binokid, Higanunan, and Higaunan. And lastly, we have also the Mandaya, Lumad here in Mindanao. Also, we have the Tibuli that could be found here in Mindanao, our very own brothers and sisters Tibuli. We have also, now let's talk about the local history. So one of the ways of preserving the history of Mindanao for their culture to survive is through studying local history. So what do we mean by local history? It is the key to understanding the different cultures and perspectives of small communities. Meaning to say, if we will talk about the national history, we must first understand the small or the local history. So for have a bigger picture of the national history of a certain country, we need to dig deeper, understand, scrutinize the local history. Next, when we say local history, they will help gain better understanding of the past, perceiving the present, by learning more of our own community's origin. So that is why, basically, we need to talk about the local history in order for us to understand the national or a broader perspective of certain history of a country. So we have example here of a local history in Cotabato City. So understanding the local history of Cotabato City makes us understand the history of that certain locality. So according to here, Cotabato City was derived from the Mindanao word Kuta Watu and the Malay-Brunyan word Kuta Batu, which means the city of stone. So this explains nga pala the Cotabato City, basically from its local history, meaning the city of stone. So according also, settlements in the Cotabato City started as early as 1475. The place was developed as the capital town in Mindanao during the 17th century under Sultan Dipatuan Kudarat. And also we have, basically also we say, according to the history, City of Stone because roads, wharves were constructed which gave rise to the modern Cotabato City. The kind of development enticed the inhabitants of Zamboanga and the Visayas to migrate and settle here. And at the turn of the 20th century, when the Americans started to rule in the Philippines, Cotabato became the capital town of the Cotabato province. And of course, it was being localized through Republic Act No. 2364, which now became a chartered city of Cotabeteno. So basically in this local history, we now understand one of local or city here in Mindanao because of local history. So why local history matters? Of course, local history should be taken as a primary concern of many of us, for it brings us closer to our hometown. So basically we will appreciate more our total national experience and heritage as a Filipinos if we know the local history of our own country. Next, another way to preserve the Mindanao culture is through museums. Establishing museums, building museums. So what is museums, by the way? Museums contain records of human presence and the individual experience of people. Basically, they are institutions, establishments that preserves cultural heritage. So in museums, we have here example in Davao. We have Museo Davaoenyo. Museum of the People of Davao is one of the two known museums in Davao because we have one museum called Old Museum in Davaoenyo, and now this is the second one. So basically, from here, museum, artifacts, archaeological materials are being stored here. So basically, because of through visiting here, the culture, the artifacts, their things, cultural things are being preserved through generations to come. Next, it allows glimpse of past scenes of Davao City in the Philippines. It is a rich collection of the best and most prominent handicrafts that the Davao is known of. Museo Davaoenyo is divided into 4 rooms: the Indigenous Peoples Gallery, Moro Peoples Gallery, Contemporary Gallery, and Memorabilia Gallery. So Indigenous Peoples Gallery, basically, those are the things, the artifacts of the indigenous people. Next, we have the Moro Peoples Gallery. The Muslims brothers and sisters. Things, artifacts are also found there. Contemporary Gallery, this refers to the modern things in our locality now, specifically in Davao City. Lastly, we have the Memorabilia Gallery. This refers to the clothes of the different people in the Davao City. Next, we have another way to preserve the history is historical shrines. We have our famous Lapu-Lapu Shrine. So Monument to Lapu-Lapu in Liberty Shrine, where the historic Battle of Mactan on April 27, 1521. So in fact, Lapu-Lapu's image is a central figure in the seal of the Philippine National Police and the Bureau of Fire Protection. Next, another way to preserve the culture of Mindanao is through exotic delicacies or their food. So preserving their food, especially in mga fiestas, we have another way. We have another example, pinasitas, binaki, indodol, to be found here in southern Mindanao, specifically in the Bukidnon region. So basically, through delicacies, we will know the culture of the past through preserving or through also cooking this kind of delicacies. Next, another way of preserving the culture of Mindanao is through festival. By having festivities of festival, we will know they preserve or they will preserve these festivals, their culture. They showcases different cultures of the people. So example, we have Kaamulan Festival in Malaybalay City. We have also Dalit Festival. Another, Lanzones Festival, Hudyaka Festival, Misamis Festival, Pasungko. We have also Subayen Keg Subanan Festival in Ozamis City, Alimango Festival, and lastly, the way to preserve the culture and heritage of the Mindanao is through attractions. First, we have the natural attractions. By preserving our natural attractions, of course, we will know of their identity. We have here Mount Malindang Range Natural Park, another Sipaka Point, also Sapang Dalaga Falls, Tinago Falls, Mount Agad-Agad, Timoga Cold Spring, Mount Hibuk-Hibuk, Maria Cristina Falls, and Lake Apo. So basically here, we will know that basically the people, the Lumads or the indigenous people are living in water. Of course, if you trace back in history, the river valleys are very important in order for civilization to arise. Next, we have also here Center for Ecological Development and Research or CIDOR and Campu Juan. Spring resorts in Maramag also. And another attraction that should be preserved is the historical attraction. First, we have the Monastery of Transfiguration and Cross Marker and Sunken Cemetery. We have also Old Catholic Church, Fort Almonte. And lastly, the way to preserve the Mindanao culture is through preserving cultural attractions. By giving importance of our cultural attractions, of course, the culture will be preserved and protected. We have Northern National Comprehensive High School, Sinakaban Fluvial Procession, Pipe Organ of Immaculate Conception Cathedral of Ozamis City, and Fort Santiago and Ozamis City. We have also Bukagan Hill in Malaubang, Ozamis City, Central Old Nazareno Dam, Vega Ancestral House. So through this preservation of Vega Ancestral House, we could say that basically it was based from his Spanish colonization, Spanish heritage. Next, of course, from the things, we have also people, notable persons, because they promote the cultural preservation and protection of the indigenous people. They could also give advocacy in preserving and protecting our cultural aspects here in Mindanao. So, another example of notable persons is Manny Pacquiao. We have also Emmanuel Pelaez and Catriona Gray. So, because of that, they could give advocacy in preserving our natural resources. Again, let's have a review. Mindanao culture survives through, first, studying local history. Next, we have treasuring museums and shrines. By building museums, they could store artifacts, cultural materials, yes, something like that. And then we have the third one, showcasing local festivals. Fourth, preserving exotic delicacies. And lastly, protecting the natural, historical, and cultural attractions.
Once again, we have different steps of how the Mindanao culture survived. First, we have studying local history. Next, we have museums and shrines. Third, preserving the natural, historical, and cultural attractions. Fourth, we have the notable persons. We have also exotic delicacies. Now, I have a video here for you to understand how the Mindanao culture survived.
Welcome to the land of dreamweavers! I've always had this certain reverence for Mindanao. I've always wanted to go and experience the culture firsthand because it's somewhere I'd never been before. And to see that culture and that tradition has been passed down and is being kept to this day in such good condition, it makes you feel really hopeful. I really admire how the people, they're very connected to nature. They draw all their inspiration, their spirituality from nature, and it's reflected in their work, like in weaving tinala. The fabric. Each color represents something. All the materials are sourced from the plants, from the vegetation, from the earth, and the inspiration for their arts. It was really insightful to see how much reverence they had for their craft.
the body, yung mga tinalag.
Tinalag is actually a fabric that can only be found in Mindanao. The traditional way of breathing is really something that is amazing. I get to understand how they do it, why they do it, and the manner of creating the patterns. Being able to immerse yourself in such culture is something that I'm really proud of. It's really a great honor to be able to do the books that will represent the Mindanao area, the Mindanao region, to be part of Catriona's Gray's national costume.
They're deeply connected. They have this deep respect. And I think that's really admirable, and that's something that we could really share to the generations today, because we really need more admiration and respect for our earth and how we look after it and how we are connected as people to it. This one evening we were invited to a Tiboli house, and we were treated to a native meal and of their local delicacies. They even performed for us using their native instruments. It's the first time that I ever experienced anything like that. It was amazing to see them all together.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your home and also to experience your beautiful culture. Introduced me to the beautiful textiles of your culture, and I just fell in love. Kasi ang ganda po. Swap ang ganda, and I feel like the international stage should be able to see it and know that here in the Philippines, this is one of our pride and joys. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be with you all and to learn about the origin of it, because I wanted to understand first where it came from before bringing it to the universe stage. So thank you so much po. I will definitely take pride in showcasing your culture to the international stage.
I think people need to know about what it means to them, how they put together their crafts, how it's been carried down through generation to generation. And I think even when I experienced that, that's what made me fall in love with what they do, their craftsmanship, their art, their handiwork, their products that they make. I fell in love with it because of the history of it and what it means to them and the reverence and respect that they have for their craft. So I think, if people were to realize that, it would really add value to that product, and people would be proud to own a product from Mindanao.
It is very important to preserve the culture in a specific country, not just in Mindanao. Of course, we can preserve that